It sounds ridiculous to me at the very first time bahwasannya Malaysia tuh banyak sekali memblok lagu Indonesia. Hi everyone, welcome back into my channel, and this is Let's Try. Okay everyone, thank you so much for clicking this video and stop by to adjust, and today I'm not alone. We have...
Hai, I'm Tika.
Hai Tika. Wow, tetap merekah ya wajahnya, tetap cantik.
Ini semerbak cinta, Mister.
Tetap merekah bak bunga raya.
Wow.
Bisa aja, Mister.
And also we have...
Assalamualaikum everyone, Aziz here again.
Okay, Mr. Aziz and Mr. Tika, thank you so much for coming, and today we have one video to be reacted. As we know that Malaysian people are everywhere on earth, right? And salah satu tempat ataupun negara yang bisa kita temukan banyak orang Malaysia itu adalah
UK.
Oh, yeah.
Indonesia juga banyak ya. Tapi kita akan ngomongin UK. Nah, ngomong-ngomong tentang UK kan berbeda banget tuh budayanya sama Malaysia, right? Budaya, agama, kebiasaan, makanan dan sebagainya. Nah, ngomong-ngomong tentang budaya dan kebiasaan, how does it feel to be Malaysian in UK? Itu ada video akan kita reaksikan. Kita penasaran banget gimana sih rasanya menjadi orang Malaysia di UK. Apakah dispesialkan atau mungkin dibiasakan saja? Kok mereka punya komunitas, mereka tak punya komunitas seperti apa? Itu yang ingin kita tahu, dan kita akan belajar apa positivity yang bisa kita ambil dari video kita kali ini. Okay everyone, without any further ado, here we go. How does it feel to be Malaysian in UK?
So like first of all, can you present yourself, you know, like where are you from, what's your background a little bit, you know?
Okay, hello, my name is Harith, I'm from Malaysia. I'm from the state of Selangor, which is very close to Kuala Lumpur, like the main city.
So what it's like being Malaysian in the UK for you?
My first impression is definitely the weather, because in Malaysia it can be very hot, like 30 degrees Celsius, but in the UK it's really cold, it's like 10 degrees, sometimes even 5. So the weather is the biggest impression for me, but also the culture-wise, it's very different. Yeah, in Malaysia, you normally see people wearing headscarves and everything, but in the UK, it's very different, and religion-wise as well, it's very different. Yeah.
For you, it's a bit hard to practice your religion in the UK as a Muslim.
Well, I would say it's harder than Malaysia because the UK, although there's some Islamic communities, it's not the majority.
Yeah.
But it's still possible. I still find it quite comfortable. It's just quite harder than Malaysia because there's not many mosques as in Malaysia. Malaysia has lots of mosques, but in the UK, I think in Sheffield itself, there's only like 2 or 3. Normally I just pray at home, it's the easiest way, but normally Friday prayers for us Muslims is compulsory, so normally we would go to a mosque and go there on Friday, yeah.
So what are the differences, you know, if you compare Malaysia and the UK when it comes to the dating culture, you know?
The process is a lot longer in Islam.
Dating
I'm not really familiar with it that
Oh.
much, because there's many rules to it, many levels to it. But in the UK, I'm pretty sure, from what I know from some people and from my friends, it's very straightforward, you know, dating apps and everything. Just meeting people at a bar or maybe like a library or anything. That's the simplest way to meet, right?
Yourself, you never try dating apps, you never try those kind of things, or?
I mean, I'm not really familiar with them, no. And I don't really plan to try dating apps. You know, it's not really interesting for me. I've just heard many bad stories, and I don't want to be the person in those stories.
Will you stay in the UK forever, or do you think you might come back to Malaysia someday?
I think I'm definitely gonna go back to Malaysia someday. My family's there, lots of my friends are also there, so I can't not go back to Malaysia. I really enjoy Malaysia a lot, and I also enjoy the UK as well. I was born here as well, so it feels like home. But you know, it's my family, so your heart is where your family is. Yeah.
Can you like present yourself, like where are you from and what's your background? You know?
My friends usually call me Kiss, and I'm from Malaysia. I live in Nilai, Negeri Sembilan, but my family recently moved to Penang last year, so I live in Penang now.
So like, what's your impression, your feeling, you know, being Malaysian in the UK, you know?
I'd say the Malaysian community in Sheffield is quite strong. There are a lot of Malaysians here, so I kind of feel at home, but at the same time, I do have a lot of British friends, other international student friends.
So when you came here, did you struggle to understand British accents?
I do, like, when I first come here, I do struggle a lot. I keep on saying, I'm sorry, what? Now I'm in my second year, right? So I feel like I've adapted to it more.
Really good English, so how do you learn English yourself? In Malaysia, people are speaking English between each other, or like how does it work exactly?
So English is actually Malaysia's second language. We do learn English since small, since kindergarten, and my
That's the
family, they
benefits,
do communicate in English as well. Kind of like a mix between Malaysia, the Malaysian language and English language. We call that Manglish.
When you're telling British people that you're from Malaysia, what's their reaction, you know?
I have this one friend who, when I tell them, oh, I'm from Malaysia, and their reaction was like, oh, wait, do you eat nasi goreng? My mom loves nasi goreng. So nasi goreng is fried rice.
Oh,
Yeah, and in Malaysia, nasi goreng is like very, very popular. It's always about food. When I say I'm from Malaysia, oh my god, I love Malaysia. The food there.
you are wearing the veil as well.
Very
The veil.
true.
The dress?
That's
Hijab.
the hijab.
Yeah.
Did you not have any bad reaction from British people?
No, actually, I do wear my hijab
Mashallah.
on always, and
Yeah.
whenever I'm with people who's not Muslim, obviously they will be very respectful. Yeah, they be very respectful. If they want to ask something about my religion, they will ask me first, like, are you comfortable if I ask you this question?
What's your background? And where are you from a little bit, you know?
I'm from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur to be specific.
So you are wearing the veil as well. So in the UK, did you have like any type of racism or any type of like judgments?
I've been like walking around with my friends, and like alhamdulillah, I found like really good people around me. So I find it like I didn't face racism like specifically because I'm wearing a veil.
British people are welcoming to you.
Yeah.
They're not judging you.
I feel stares, but I don't feel like people are just staring at me because like I'm wearing a veil. I feel like people are like just, ooh, who's that? Just like that. I don't feel like it's specifically because I'm Muslim.
Compare the UK and Malaysia when it comes to the dating culture. What's the differences? You know, what's your own experience?
I don't have any experience.
It's forbidden in Malaysia. You can't date, right?
It's not forbidden per se. It's more important in Islam that you approach somebody of the opposite gender for marriage. They would like approach the family first, talk it out. If like both parties
anak-anak muda
agree,
Malaysia
then
bisa
you go
berpikiran
get engaged
seperti
first. I find in the UK it's more open, like PDA and such.
If you see PDA on the street, it doesn't bother you?
Holding hands is like fine, you do you. But then when it gets become more extreme, like no, please no, yeah.
Where are you from, and what's a bit of your background? You know.
I am from Malaysia, and precisely I am from Kuala Lumpur.
Did your attitude, behavior change in comparison when you're in Malaysia?
My behavior has changed a lot. Over here, I became the president of Malaysian students in Sheffield. It is a big responsibility and a big shoe for me to fill in. Of course, I need to change from
The
just a
English are
regular
very
student into
good.
a leader. It takes a lot for me to be more confident, and the surroundings here actually help a lot because everyone around here is confident to show their opinions. It encourages me to stand firm on my decisions. My social skills also improve. I became a dancer in Malaysia,
a dancer.
traditional dancer.
Would you like to demonstrate a few moves?
Malaysian dance.
Yeah, so something like that. It's like a watery move. Resembles the movement of the water.
Since you're in the UK, have you ever faced some racism, you know, yourself?
There is like no particular form of racism in Sheffield.
Okay.
But I do experience some in Edinburgh. I was praying at the train station, and it's not like in the middle of the road or something. It's like at the side. So I was praying, and then some people started mocking me, and then they sprayed some water to me. But here in Sheffield, there is like no source of racism whatsoever.
It's easy for you to make British friends? It's easy to mingle with the British, or it's a bit more challenging?
I would say it's a little bit more challenging because they do different kind of activities. For Muslims, we cannot go to the bar, we cannot go drinking. That is their leisure thing to do. After their classes, they will hang out at the clubs, and that is just something that I couldn't do. So I try to, get to know them through sports.
Do you have some advice for people watching you? Do you have some advice, if people want to come to the UK?
Learn to cook on your own. In Malaysia, we have nasi lemak, and I really miss it so much when I first came here, but I don't know how. And the only places that sell nasi lemak, they charge it for like
So you
10
need to
pounds
cook
each.
nasi
It
lemak
was
if you
very
want to
expensive.
eat nasi
How much it
lemak.
costs in Malaysia to have nasi lemak?
So in nasi lemak, it's just like 6 ringgit, which is about 50 pence.
Wow, jealous gak sih memiliki anak muda hebat seperti ini?
Kerennya Mister, walaupun dia berada di UK, di mana budayanya berbeda, ya kan, tapi mereka tuh tetap memegang teguh
Itu dia.
norma-norma atau sesuatu yang benar-benar
batasan-batasan itu mereka bawa
yang
bersama
ada
mereka.
Iya loh, no dating apps. That's what I like from
Malaysian man, right?
loh. Bayangkan Mister, kalau misalnya di barat itu kan kita kenal, hai,
Ya udah.
are you alone?
Available?
Itu Mistika ya?
Itu Mistika.
Ya kan di bar, kan tadi di bar.
Emang kamu pernah ke bar?
Kan tadi ceritanya
Cerita
gitu, Mister ya.
Okay.
Tapi kan kalau misalnya yang ini nih tadi, yang kan lo Mister di
Bener,
Malaysia
bener.
masih ingat nggak waktu
Betul.
ketemu Abang Bomba?
Betul, abang bombanya yang begini sama Mistika. Mistika sudah berharap. Please shake my hand.
Jadi malu kan,
Betul,
tapi ya sudah.
luar biasa banget.
Budayanya benar-benar memegang teguh.
Itu dia
sih ya.
luar biasa banget. Kita harus kasih celebration nih kepada orang tua di Malaysia, cikgu Malaysia, orang-orang dewasa di Malaysia, karena sudah berhasil dengan baik banget mendidik generasi muda mereka. Seperti inilah contohnya, walaupun di luar sana, ketika kita di luar sana tuh kita tendensinya ada itu mengikuti budaya sana, untuk coba-coba budaya sana. Wah, ini budaya yang selalu saya lihat di televisi, di film-film. Nak coba ke bar, nak cobalah dating apps karena it's very popular. Aku merasa malu karena aku seorang diri yang tidak main dating apps seperti itu. Tapi tidak seperti itu loh anak-anak muda Malaysia. Wow, di hati mereka dari kecil sudah benar-benar ditancapkan dengan tajam banget apa yang baik dan apa yang tidak baik, apa yang harus dan apa yang tidak harus, apa yang kena dan apa yang tak boleh kena. Gimana sih bahasa Malaysia? Apa yang kena dan apa yang tak boleh harus kalian lakukan. Seperti itu. Wow, congratulations Malaysian parents and teachers. Wow, Mr. Rajis, ada yang mau ditambahkan? How does it feel to be in Malaysia?
How does it feel to be Malaysian in UK? Apa ya, keberuntungan bagi bangsa Malaysia, bagi rakyat Malaysia berdiri di semenanjung Malaysia yang merupakan persatuan antara negeri-negeri yang hukumnya berlandaskan Islam gitu ya, sehingga mereka tidak perlu bersikeras atau trying too hard untuk menjaga putra-putri mereka, anak cucu mereka, karena semua landasan hukumnya sudah termaktub di Al-Quran dan Al-Hadis, di Sunnatullah gitu. Jadi mereka tinggal mengembangkan relevansinya dengan kemajuan zaman. Sebenarnya seperti itu. Bisa terbilang tidak terlalu debatable hukumnya, karena hukumnya apa yang tercantum di Al-Quran itulah yang biasanya mereka terapkan di kehidupan sehari-hari. They practice what they can read or find in Al-Quran. Jadi bagaimana guru-guru sekarang, cikgu-cikgu di sana mengajar, kemudian orang tua di sana merasa bangga terhadap anak-anaknya. Ini adalah warisan para leluhur mereka. Ini adalah kekuatan yang sudah dapat mereka tuai karena mereka senantiasa menjadikan Al-Quran dan Al-Hadis sebagai pedoman dalam membentuk hukum negara mereka. Gitu. Jadi it's not necessarily being Muslim in Malaysia, tapi mungkin ketika mewawancarai orang yang bukan Muslim tapi orang Malaysia dan tinggal di UK, mungkin juga mereka juga akan berpendapat yang sama, karena it's not necessarily you are being Muslim, tapi you are being Malaysian yang hukumnya bersandarkan pada Al-Quran dan Al-Hadis gitu.
Betul.
That's why juga Mister mungkin karena memang sudah tertancapkan dengan dalam ya kaidah-kaidah yang sudah diterapkan di Malaysia seperti itu, yang menyebabkan orang tua tidak khawatir untuk membawa anak-anaknya melanjutkan pendidikan ke luar negeri. Benar kan ya Mister? Banyak sekali loh orang tua di Malaysia yang selalu bertujuan untuk mengirim anak-anaknya study abroad.
Betul. Luar biasa banget. Dan satu lagi mungkin yang bisa aku tambahkan, ini merupakan keberhasilan dari sistem pendidikan juga yang ada di Malaysia. Ketika sistem pendidikan yang di Malaysia itu selalu mencanangkan bahwasanya harus adab dulu di atas ilmu. Jadi mereka merancang kurikulum mereka sehingga di dalam sekolah mereka tuh ada namanya pelajaran civic, kemudian ada pelajaran mengenal adab, akhlak seperti itu. Jadi mereka nggak khawatir. Karena mereka tahu ujungnya seperti apa. Mereka nggak benar-benar terlalu menitik beratkan harus mendapatkan prestasi akademik yang paling bagus, nilai yang paling bagus. No, they don't put that standard. Tapi lebih ke adab dulu. Ketika adabnya sudah terbentuk, maka ilmu akan mengikuti. Seperti itu. Dan seperti inilah hasil-hasil.
Kalau menurut saya sebenarnya sistem pendidikan atau hal-hal yang dibagikan kepada siswa-siswi di Indonesia dan di Malaysia itu sama gitu ya, kualitasnya sama untuk kontennya, tapi ini adalah perbedaan yang sangat signifikan adalah media masanya Mister dan Mistika, di mana
salah satu faktor penunjang yang paling berpengaruh
yang paling berpengaruh, karena kalau di sekolah kita kan from 7 to 3 or from 7 to 2 or sekolah, Sufa?
Iya, AS.
Oh ya, AS gitu. Jadi mereka ya setelah pulang sekolah pasti nonton TV, televisi, atau buka internet dan segala macam. Kalau pemerintah tidak hadir dalam mengontrol derasnya informasi yang dapat dicerna atau dikonsum oleh rakyatnya, ya mungkin akan jadi kebablasan. Betul. Semua hal dapat diterima, semua hal tidak disensor, betul, semua hal tidak terkendali. Mereka jadi bingung mau mempercayai yang mana gitu.
Betul.
Tapi kalau misalkan kita lihat di Malaysia atau beberapa orang kita juga aja mau berbicara tentang bagaimana sih sebenarnya peran media massa dalam membentuk kepribadian atau karakter sebuah bangsa atau anak-anak muda di sebuah negara. Ya, ini adalah kerjasama antar negara dan lembaga medianya gitu. Jadi bagaimana mereka memberikan regulasi yang mana yang boleh dipertontonkan oleh anak-anak di rentang usia tertentu, dan itu benar-benar diterapkan itu, dan itu benar-benar ditegakkan. Kalau sebuah film gitu ya, itu diperbolehkan hanya untuk anak usia misalkan 7 sampai berapa tahun gitu, misalkan minimal 7 tahun, itu cuma boleh minimal 7 tahun, tidak boleh. Tapi to be honest, yang sangat menyedihkannya adalah di sini misalkan film tertentu tidak boleh ditonton oleh anak-anak, tapi tetap dibawalah anak-anak gitu loh. Jadi memang regulasinya kurang ketat, regulasinya kurang tegak. Nah, ini juga adalah salah satu aspek terpenting dalam membentuk karakter sebuah bangsa, karena lagi-lagi teknologi sudah ada di sekitar kita.
Masalahnya di Malaysia tuh negara tuh merasa bertanggung jawab juga Mister untuk membentuk generasi-generasi ke depan seperti apa perilakunya, etikanya, kemudian pola pikirnya terhadap media-media sosial yang sangat ada banyak banget di sekitar kita. It sounds ridiculous to me at the very first time bahwasanya Malaysia itu banyak sekali memblok lagu Indonesia. Lagunya Ruth Sahanaya, mungkin hanya Tuhan yang tahu segalanya, itu diblok seperti itu aja, sesimpel itu aja. Kenapa? Mungkin hanya Tuhan yang tahu segalanya, sedangkan kita tahu Tuhan itu tahu segalanya. Hanya seperti sepenggal kata itu aja yang salah. Mungkin hanya Tuhan yang tahu segalanya, sedangkan we believe our God knows everything, on heaven, on earth, on your heart, every single place, everywhere, infinity. Allah knows it, God knows it. Tapi di lagu itu semacam questioning. Mungkin lagu sekecil itu, lagu indah, populer di Indonesia, itu di-ban di Malaysia. Apalagi mungkin dengan video-video, film-film Avengers itu pun kadang-kadang di-ban di Malaysia, yang serta-merta sangat populer di Indonesia. Ataupun beberapa film-film yang lain, Thor aja di-ban di Malaysia seperti itu.
Iya, inilah yang terjadi, Mister. Apabila tidak ada satupun pemerintah maupun rakyat maupun aspek-aspek yang lain di sebuah negara mentoleransi, memberikan toleransi. Hukum Islam tidak bisa ditawar. Tidak ada tawar-menawar dalam penerapan hukum Islam gitu. Inilah yang akan terjadi. Tidak apa-apa tidak tahu lagu-lagu tertentu, tidak apa-apa tidak tahu film-film tertentu, tidak apa-apa tidak tahu berita-berita tertentu. Tetapi mereka yakin dan percaya apa yang mereka konsumsi adalah ilmu yang akan bermanfaat buat mereka di kemudian hari atau bahkan saat dewasa. Itu hanyalah bagian dari hiburan. Hiburan itu adalah sifatnya adalah tersier, kebutuhan ketiga lah. Ya kan, ada primary, secondary, dan ada yang ketiga. Nah, ketika yang pertama dan yang kedua ini sudah dipenuhi dan sudah merasa cukup, ya sudah. Gitu, mereka bisa mencari kebutuhan-kebutuhan primer dan sekunder yang lainnya tanpa harus selalu berarti kita harus ada hiburan. Nah, disitulah undang-undang negara hadir yang tetap berlandaskan pada agama.
Mencari hiburan atau mencari kesenangan pun harus ada batasnya, dibatasin oleh orang-orang Malaysia. Pemerintah Malaysia juga turun tangan seperti, sehingga tidak kaget ketika generasi-generasi muda mereka sangat lantang banget, luar biasa banget. Di sana mereka apa? Carinya masjid. Luar biasa banget. Di sana mereka takut. Padahal now or never, right? Kalau kita ngomongnya, kalau kita beberapa orang, mumpung aku dari di Inggris nih, aku di Inggris, ketika dibalik di Malaysia, aku pasti sayangkan kenapa aku tidak melakukan itu seperti. Tapi they don't think that way. Wow, bener-bener teguh pendirian mereka sebagai pemuda Malaysia. Keren banget. Guru-guru Malaysia dan orang-orang Malaysia. Wah, hasil didikannya luar biasa banget. Wow everyone, bagaimana? Coba kalian memberikan komentar kalian di kolom komentar, kita diskusi sama-sama. Okay everyone, that's all from us. Hope that you find this video. If this video, don't forget to thumbs up the channel. Don't forget to subscribe in Indonesia, Malaysia boleh. Indonesia juga harus bisa lebih baik. Bye everyone.